to the Antelope PTG, or some would like to call it 2023.1, which is the naming given to it, and Antelope is for specifically marketing purposes. So we will be conducting this PTG from 1300 to 1700 UTC from Tuesday, which is today, till Friday. And the last hour we have kept as a buffer, which if needed, like we can use it, or we can, yeah, if we don't have enough topics or anything to talk about, we can leave that. So this is the meeting room where we will be meeting every day, and I have also set this URL link in the PTG website. So I will just refer that as well. So if you click on the Cinder link in this URL, then you will be redirected to this meeting room. And in the list of Etherpads, there is a section on the top. There you can find the Cinder Etherpad, which I have linked, and I can link again for anyone who had joined late. Also, to the people who have joined late, please add your name on the attendees list in Tuesday, 18th October. And there are some things I would like to mention for today. So I have added a section of a courtesy ping in front of every topic. So if someone wants to be notified, if they are not attending the whole PTG and would like to be notified about a particular topic, they could add their IRC nick there, and I will ping them on the Cinder or the Open Infra channel wherever they are available, so they don't miss their topic. And other than that, we will be having the operator hour today, which is at 1500 UTC, which is a new concept introduced this time, where we will be interacting with operators live. So that would be very helpful, because in the past we had troubles understanding user feedback, where they are very vague about some things, and it's not a two-way communication. But this time I think this will be helpful. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to mention, and we can start with the introduction. So hi, my name is Rajat. I work at Red Hat, and I'm the current PTL of Cinder, and also a co-reviewer. And I am based out of India. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So Gorka, you would like to go next?
Sure. I'm Gorka Leo. I'm from Madrid, Spain. I also work at Red Hat, and I'm also a core. And yeah, nothing more to say. So, Brian, wanna go next? Are you trying to unmute?
I think Brian was having some troubles.
But it was with the camera. Anyway, Eric, do you want to go?
Hey, Eric Harney, based in Raleigh, North Carolina. Been on the Cinder core team for a while here. Luigi, you want to go?
Hi, so I'm Luigi Toscano. I'm a quality engineer working in Red Hat. I'm mostly lately doing more internal stuff, but I also keep an eye on the upstream testing, Zool stuff, Zool issues, and so on. And I guess that's it. I'm based in Italy, if you really need to know. And the next one, is the order random? Like, Felipe?
Hello, everyone. I'm based in Brazil. I am software engineer working for NetApp. So I've been here since 3 years ago, and I think that's it from my side. I need to select the next one. Okay, I think it can be Luisa. She's from my team, NetApp team. So that is one.
Okay, hello guys. I'm also from Brazil. We're representing NetApp, and I've been working with Cinder for about a year already. And yeah, I'm not much experienced, but I'm always willing to learn. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say.
Can you also select a name randomly? So the next one.
If nobody selects anyone, Jay, your
Yeah,
turn.
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Jay Bryant. I work for Lenovo as a cloud architect. I work from Rochester, Minnesota in the United States. Core member, former PTL, and I don't get as much upstream time as I would like, but at least try to keep my head in the game here and help out where I can. So let's see. I think Brian's on now. Can I pass off to Brian?
Possibly. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yay. All right, so I'm Brian. I've got a new computer that I thought was working great. Okay, so now you can see me, I can see you, and I can stuff. Okay. I used to be PTL, and now I'm not. I'm a core member, so I work on, I do reviews and work on stuff. And I'm also a Glance core, so I do some stuff with the Glance team, but not too much. I guess that's it. And welcome, everybody. Glad to see you here. I got here late, so I don't know who hasn't spoken yet. So somebody volunteer, please.
Yeah.
Jean-Pierre.
I think I can go next. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Manoj. I work for Red Hat. I'm basically from India. I'm concentrating mostly on Triplo and enabling Cinder stuff in Triplo. That's it. I'll have to select someone. Tushar, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Tushar. I'm from NEC, India, and I'm currently living in India also. I'm working in OpenStack from like past 1.5 year. So yeah, that's from my side. Who's next? Tony.
So maybe Tony's not around as of now.
I can go next. So, hello everyone, my name is JP, Jean-Pierre. Everybody calls me JP. Simpler to pronounce. Based in Paris, I'm working at Dell. Mostly focused on every storage portfolio we have at Dell, but I'm trying also to get involved into the community and do the more I can for participating to the work you guys doing. I think that's it from my side.
So anyone who would like to introduce themselves? The idea is to get familiar with the team.
I can go next. Hello everyone, I'm from Brazil. Been working at the top with Felipe and Luisa for like 4 months. I'm new at this, but I love to learn and love the project. So it's nice to meet everyone here. Hope we have good moments together.
I can go next. Rafaela, also from Brazil. I'm working for NetApp the last 2 months only, so I am a beginner in the OpenStack project, and I hope to learn many things here. Thank you.
That's a lot of NetApp people. It's nice to see a good commitment to Cinder here.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I should make it clear. I'm not complaining. I'm saying yay. There's a lot of NetApp people here.
Yeah. So, with the silence, I can assume no one else is interested in introducing them. So we can proceed, and they might get more familiar with us during the PTG, hopefully. Okay, so in the agenda, I had planned the introduction, and after that, I added the user survey feedback, which I think we received an email a few days ago. And there was a huge Excel sheet where half of the rows were missing because like someone would write only for Swift and someone would write only for Nova. So I took out the Cinder bits of it and arranged it in an Excel sheet, which I won't be able to yeah, share the link, but I think I can share like this. So are people able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh,
There's usually like a little lag with Blue Jeans, though. Or maybe I've got my.
I can't see it either. Not there.
It says you're presenting, but I don't see it.
so maybe a glitch with the video sharing. Maybe I can share the link with you, Brian, and then you can share your screen.
All right, that would be an adventure.
Yeah, because I created this sheet from my Red Hat account and I am unable to share it publicly, so I should have done it with my personal ID. But I have shared it, Brian. Can you check and see if you have received it?
So I should be checking my email.
Sorry, I was on mute. It is brian.rosmaita@redhat.com.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking in the wrong place. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. First try failed. Okay. All right, now this is going to be an adventure because last time I tried to share something, it didn't work. But all right, so let's see.
Have faith, that fine Lenovo will be.
All right, I've got it. So my interface is share screen, and it has screen 1, 2, and 3, and they're all black boxes. So I have no idea what you're about to see. So I'm just making sure I don't have anything bad on any of my screens. All right, here goes. Screen 3.
Questions?
So can you see anything?
No.
All I can see is a big blue screen that says you are sharing your screen.
Just see your face.
Okay, well that's nice.
Yeah.
All right, let me share.
No, be patient. It just started getting black.
Oh. Let me try this again. That didn't work either. Let me try one more. No luck.
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I can't hear anything either. Okay. Oh man, so are you just getting black?
I don't even get screen sharing popped up. I just keep seeing the people. Is there a?
So in the meantime, I created the public link for the sheet. Yeah, I mean, I copy pasted the sheet, into another Excel one.
Okay, let me unshare because. Yeah, I never found out a good way to like get this information that's not an enormous pain in the butt. So thanks for going through it, Rajat, and sorting out the Cinder stuff.
Yeah,
it's just like it's enormous freaking spreadsheet, and it's got a whole bunch of columns, and nothing's really correlated. It's just there's got to be a better way to get that.
When I process it for the TC, which I still need to finish because it takes so damn long, you have to basically go and pull out all the data individually, whatever you're looking for. I've asked if they could improve the format, and they've assured me they can't.
Oh.
Are people able to
yeah, I've got the link open.
I will add this link to the Etherpad as well. So I have added some filters on the top. I wish I could screen share it, but on the top of every column, you can filter out all the blanks for all 4 different columns, and then you might be able to see some useful data. Because I was trying to delete all the unnecessary rows, but it's a long list of things. So probably we can filter out the Cinder feedback from there. That might be useful.
I'm not sure I can filter anything. I have view only access, and I don't seem to have the filters.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I will just change the access to editor, and now you should be able to filter it.
No, I was not complaining. I mean, I was just saying. But yeah, we should probably short it by Cinder feedback, because the other stuff, I don't know if it's all that useful, just knowing that there are people using it.
Yeah, mostly it's just production and the size of their deployment, like the storage size. Yeah, so first feedback I see is Cinder backup problems with drivers, and I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we need the operator hour.
Yeah, we do this every time.
Yeah, and the next one is in Chinese, but I translated it and it said high availability support.
Mission accomplished.
But Cinder, which one? Line 27?
Yeah, the Cinder backup. After Cinder backup, I have changed that.
Thank you. Yeah, Cinder backup has high availability support in terms of you can horizontally scale it. It actually supports both vertical and horizontal scaling. Cinder volume it's a different matter. But...
So yeah, I'm not sure they meant because they wrote it in front of the Cinder backup, or maybe they wanted for both. But yeah. So okay. We can. I'm not sure if there is any loop where we can provide this feedback to the operators. So Brian, are you aware like how if
we had talked about sending an email to the operators, and I don't know if I ever did.
Yeah, we did something. I don't know if we created
did at one point,
a wiki or an Etherpad, something. We did something in one of these.
Yeah, and then but it was a while. It was long enough ago that I don't remember what we did. But let's bring it up at the operator meeting about what's a good way to communicate with them. Because yeah, I don't know. Because I think we may have combined it with like a operator survey or something. So it was like we wanted, we've gotten some feedback. We'd like more details, and I think it was one of those that we got like no replies. So like our Ceph survey, where I think we got like 3 responses.
Yeah, I mean sometimes we send email to the mailing list with operators, but we don't receive much feedback.
Yeah, so I think let's talk to them and see what they need to know to filter on Cinder, and then ask them what else would be good to put in there, so that they filter stuff out.
Yeah, that sounds good. So the next one, I think someone deleted my translation, but the translation said repair, and not sure what they want to be repaired. But yeah, we can move on. Next one is regarding improvements in volume encryption, key rotation, and multiple lux keys feature. I'm not sure if we have that right now or something good to implement.
We do more key rotation. I don't know whether they want to be able to rekey on your own, which because Eric implemented, we do rekey on.
We do it on clone. It's pretty reasonable that some people might want time-based rotation on attach or something. I mean, there's some other things we could explore if somebody wanted them for hardening measures. Probably something worth about a little bit.
Yeah. Good, I guess. The next one I see is more stability in connecting with Nova connection with Nova for volume attach and detach request. Also automatic healing in case of mismatches.
Yeah, the problem I see with this is that we don't know which OSP version, which OpenStack version they're running. So if this is an old version, it's completely different than the new versions where we have the new attachment interface, and which is somewhat more robust, and it also allows easier cleanup. So we really need to know. Is there any way to figure out the OpenStack version that we're using?
I'm also not sure either, but they talk about automatic healing, which might be
But I believe automatically healing is basically if you try to do an attach and it fails, they never want to see the volume remaining in reserve. If they try to detach, they don't want to see a volume in detaching. Basically, and they don't want Nova and Cinder to be out of sync. I think it goes in those lines. The healing.
I don't know how you're going to get automated healing because we have so many attachment problems. It's literally one of the main things that we deal with on a daily basis, and so many times those attachment problems have nothing to do with what's going on in Cinder itself, and has to do with network problems, with Nova issues. I mean, it is incredibly complex. I don't know how you're going to make this auto heal from within Cinder. It's unreasonable.
Well, I don't think this is within Cinder. This is the case where at Red Hat we joke and we say everything is a Cinder problem. Because whenever there's an attach and detach problem, they open a Baxilla in Cinder. And it's like you said, usually there was a database problem, RabbitMQ problem, Nova not doing what it should be doing. Yeah, but from a customer's perspective or from an operator, they are just saying, please get this better. And probably some of these fixes are on the Nova side. As in, make sure that you don't leave a detach on detaching. Make sure that you have a try catch clause and that you always delete empty attachments. That kind of stuff, I think. And if we know in which cases Nova is not cleaning things up, we can improve it a little bit more. I think it's probably in those lines.
Yeah, honestly, some of our attachment problems happen when we have to bounce our pods too. And because we have a fix that we're putting in place. And so, this goes back to the operational aspects of Cinder's total inability to know what's going on and to do a safe teardown and let operations finish that it knows that it should be able to before it tears it down and restarts. And so that's one of the reasons why I pushed this so much earlier, and it's still an issue too, but it is what it is.
Yep. So I think this one, line 62, I think I do understand what they want. But the problem is that it's, in most cases, a case-by-case thing when we have to see why did the volume was left in detaching, attaching, and at which of the components fail to clean this up. I would say that's, not easy to say where we need to fix this exactly. But I agree with the sentiment.
So we can ask this in the operator hour as well. If someone of the available operator are facing, have similar feedbacks. Okay, I think the next up is on line 144. Cloud admin has no access to operations on every secret, like delete. Only project admin does. So currently, I think based on our policies, the cloud admin is same as project admin. So I'm not again
Yeah, I'm
sure.
not sure what this one means.
I mean, that they should be able to change that, right?
Yeah, they should have, like, it is a single person with the project admin and the cloud admin rights.
Maybe this is more of a documentation thing where we have to say, yeah, you would need to change this policy. You would need to set that specific cloud admin in Keystone this way, and then you would be able to do what you want. Maybe it is something like that.
Yeah,
Right,
maybe
because I
people
mean,
are confused. Yeah.
quite a bit of thought went into the default policies.
Okay, we can.
I guess the other thing I don't get is, I'm misreading this, but Cloud admin has no access to operations on every secret. So I wonder if they're, I don't know. Are they, I don't know if they're talking about the encryption keys or what.
It does sound like that's likely.
Dumb question. Where did the spreadsheet come from? Sorry.
Rajat made it.
Welcome, Walt.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed the first half of the meeting.
No, there was a an email and there's the spreadsheet attached to it, but it's got like everything, and Rajat whittled it down to Cinder specific stuff. So that's where this one came from.
And are these operational bugs filed in Launchpad that we're reading from?
No, it's OpenStack user survey, Walt.
Oh, the survey. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
So I'm not sure if the filter, if I've set it and it works for everyone, but you can filter out the feedback and that should appear only. Okay, the next one is on line 182 is real HA, which again, I mean, probably we can skip the vague ones. The next one is better error handling, fallback when volumes cannot be created, mounted, deleted.
I don't know. Yeah, we would have to ask what they want as in better error handling, because if it fails, it fails. Maybe what they want is the user messages that we've been added. We don't handle them better. We do exactly the same, but you at least know what it is that has happened. Maybe it's that they are asking for. I don't know.
That would be my guess.
In that case, I have added a topic for user messages because I'm trying to revive my old series. So maybe, yeah, that will help them.
Stop failing. Just make it work.
Okay, next one is better support for Cinder backup services, especially the file system drivers.
Don't know what that means.
Yeah, the service, we only have one service for Cinder backup. Maybe they meant drivers.
It sounds like they're complaining about a particular backup driver not working. So have they filed a bug, and is it just not being addressed?
Yep, I think the same. That's probably it.
I also don't know if they have a character limit for the feedback, because so they could provide some links additional to what they're complaining about. Yeah, surely something to discuss.
Yeah, when we're done here, we can look at the questions that we've got, see if we can modify them a little bit.
Yeah. The next test line is clarity on Cinder volume HA with Ceph RBD. So maybe documentation.
Yep, probably. But it's, yeah, definitely documentation, but I don't know what part of the documentation they want improved. Is it the deployment, the features, the recommended configuration options when deploying in active-active with a Ceph RBD? But yeah, we could have a look and probably improve the whole HA status in Cinder for Cinder volume, because I think we have all replied a couple of mail threads in the list regarding this, so maybe we just have to summarize what we said there into our own documentation.
That would be useful. And even the next one is good documentation around HA deployment. So like multiple people have similar feedback there. Next in this list is online 404, which is online retyping between different Ceph RBD backends. I think
that works, unless they are talking about in-use volume retyping between.
Yeah, it is online retyping, so in use.
Okay.
Between different clusters.
Yep. Eric, you were going to look into that, if I remember correctly, right? Into seeing if libvirt supports it.
That's the one that's been held up for years because libvirt didn't support part of it, right? So I think I was mentioning in some completely other context recently that I could look at it, but I haven't done that yet. We probably need to understand what limitations still exist there and document them. And Cinder would be useful.
Something we would like to work upon if Nova site supports it.
Well, Nova didn't support it before because libvirt didn't support it. So if libvirt gets support for it, we can chase getting it into Nova. But I don't know, I need to go refresh my memory on what the gap is there.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Next up, we have trouble using live migration with Cinder pure iSCSI backend storage. OSBrick with multipath lags attaching multiple disks simultaneously, which is really a pain for maintenance.
I don't even know what this is talking about. I mean, I understand the words. I don't understand exactly what the scenario they are talking about, because live migration works. OSBreak doesn't care about you having it attached on different hosts, just like migration. Unless live migration, I assume it's of instances, or is it Cinder volume migration? In both cases, it should work.
With the context of live migration, it should be about instances when we have.
Oh no, don't be so sure. I've had many conversations where I ask and they say no, live volume migration, like awesome. But if they are talking about instances, this should work. I mean, there is nothing special here.
Yeah, I'm not sure like how the OSBreak connector with multipath lacks, like if we attach simultaneously multiple disks, how it is a bottleneck there. But I am not.
Well, first of all, we have a big fat lock that basically blocks everything. So maybe that's the problem, that they are using. No, it shouldn't be a problem. I was thinking of hyperconverge, but where you would need to have the file locks that we recently added. But otherwise, OSBreak actually has logs on attach and detach, so they should be serialized and it should be working fine. Unless we are talking a very, very old OpenStack release, there should be no problem.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea if they like include the release they're using, so we have much clarity with the feedback they're providing with respect to that particular release. Okay. Okay, next up we have Ceph QoS, which I saw someone working on. I'm not sure if it is merged, but I think
Yeah, we just landed support for backend QoS for Ceph, and we have forever encouraged people to use front-end QoS for Ceph. So I think it's there. I mean,
so that's great.
What else to say about it?
We at least have answer for one question. Yeah.
Yeah, I am adding it to the Etherpad and the link to the patch.
Okay, great. So if anyone has joined late, I see more members now. I will share the Etherpad where we have the link to the spreadsheet as well. They can see what we are seeing right now because screen share doesn't work for me. The next is support for more volume types and a bit stronger UI. That is with no restarts. More volume types.
I think this is probably someone complaining about a specific deployment tool, right? Because we don't limit the number of volume types. You can do whatever you want as a system administrator. And UI, we don't have a UI, so it's awesome, perfect. Not a single bug in our UI.
Maybe on the Horizon side, they would prefer better display of the Cinder resources, but yeah, we can't do much about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the restart issue is there either.
Maybe they had to open the dashboard again and again, like it hangs or something. But yeah, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it could be an issue where the volume type doesn't show up until you close your browser and reopen. I don't know.
Again, we have another one for RBD storage driver QoS support, which we have already addressed. Next is more integration drivers, and I think that's up to the vendors to add their specific drivers, and we had a lot of drivers added to Z. Maybe they will be happy about it, and we still have some move to this cycle. So,
did you skip line 500?
Yeah, it said
anything. Done. We did it. It's done.
Yeah, that's like
we did anything. I was searching through the original in the background, and there isn't any place where people can indicate what release they're on. I wonder if that's feedback to the foundation that or TC that we should give, because I'm surprised that we've never asked for that information.
I thought
and
there's
that
like one
could
of the
be important. That's
I thought
very
one of the really
basic
early
question.
questions is what version are you running?
So there's a question on how they upgrade their versions, but I'm not. I searched the document for release and version and did not get anything in there that looks like they can indicate what version they're running.
But
I couldn't
back when we had those beautiful graphs with the survey results, they were showing in which release. So a pie chart with the release each one we're using. So.
Oh, were they? Okay.
I'm talking about 5 years ago, so who knows?
Well, I took this. I couldn't find the questions, so I took the survey yesterday, and I would have swore that it showed up.
So maybe we're just not getting it in the sheet we get.
Yeah, but maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I missed out because there were like 50, 60 columns, but I will check again if there is a section for release. But yeah, I didn't see it.
Size of the cloud, number of instances, much storage, tools.
Be like the current user survey data for 2021 does not shows organization size, what ways are you using it, would you recommend it to a friend, primary focus, documentation question, and what new technologies are you interested in?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't see.
So that if they had the which deployment are you using, it looks like it might have been removed. And they got interested in production, which workloads. Oh, no, under deployments, there is a which releases do deployments most commonly use. Okay, so they are collecting that information somewhere in there. Anyway, not something we need to figure out today, but of interest for the future.
Yep, the link is pasted on the chat. You have a graph up to from 2017, very modern, but you can see the different releases over time in there, which is probably similar to what I remember.
There is a question actually. It's which releases does this deployment currently use? Select all that apply, and it goes from Z to ethics. So it's not real helpful for us because, right, if you're running a couple, like you might be running Z, you know, in a test environment.
Yeah, but if they're running both, they wouldn't complain about something that it's already fixed in the latest. If you complain, there is no QoS support, but you run the latest and you see QoS support, you would know that you need to update.
You're right. Yeah.
Continue.
Yes, we can continue and finish this up because we also have more topics and operator hour coming up. So next is volume group expansion, and I'm not sure if there is anything to discuss there. Is there any known feature where we talked about expanding?
Here is the fun part. Do they mean expansion or extend operation? Expansion as in more features, or expansion as in increase volumes from a group? The extend operation.
Oh. That is this weakness, and there is ambiguity as well. So yeah, I don't know. Okay. Next we have images deployment. Again, so there is a good one on line 740. They said no, so they don't have any feedback for us, which is very good. We are doing everything right. Again, we have a similar
827, good as well.
I don't see anything on 827.
So somebody finally noticed there's Ceph QoS.
Yeah, working better with Ceph in terms of QoS. Maybe.
Done.
But I think, yeah, this is the third time. So they will be happy with the feature we have merged recently. Next is shared volumes, which is possible with multi-attach. Okay. And next is volume multi-attach better support. I'm really not sure what they mean by better, improving, or extending.
Maybe they want all the drivers to support it.
Yeah,
or that maybe it fails a lot, like you say.
Yeah, it says better support. And we are finally able to complete this survey feedback. So I think there were some good questions about like volume, key rotation, and something related to the attachment detachment flow being.
Rajat, I have been adding the different ones in the Etherpad on line 59, a summary of the ones we have been doing and reading and some comments.
Oh, that's really great. I was thinking of doing it after the PTG. But yeah, as you have, yeah, it's really good. So,
did you skip lines 630?
So are we looking at the Etherpad I have created or the one shared by?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I thought I was looking at the user survey feedback spreadsheet.
So I deleted some blank lines, so maybe it's out of sync with that.
Oh, okay. It's images deployment. It doesn't say exactly what they're interested in. It just says images deployment. But you've been making improvements on the plant store Cinder driver, so maybe.
Yeah, if they plan to use the Cinder one, then that should be a good experience for them.
Yeah, I skipped the images deployment because I didn't even know what that meant. We talked about it.
Yeah, we can surely get the ones that are not very clear.
Brian, I moved your line to the done section. Okay.
That's fine. I saw it suddenly disappeared. I thought, what happened?
Yeah, that's why I'm letting you know. I didn't delete it. I moved it.
So someone added a link to the user survey questions Etherpad. So I think that was shared with the operators, and they had to select something out of it. Like it says about driver as well, but I didn't see the driver being mentioned in the feedback.
Yeah, so I just pasted that together from the user survey. Yeah, I hadn't seen any of these in any of the results for either. What I did notice though is that there's a bunch of stuff in here that we don't have anymore, and then there's some that we do have that aren't in there. So I can take an action item to just go through. Like I think HP left hand was removed a while back. But I guess the other thing is whether because we don't ask about like protocols or anything. So I'm wondering whether we want to get a sense of if people are using NVMe OF. So I wonder if we want to redo this question a different way. Do we want to? Well, I guess just asking about the drivers hasn't helped because we've gotten absolutely no feedback on that. So maybe ask about the protocols, or but it's basically what you get is just that question, and then there's a big bunch of checkboxes on the survey. And that shows up, I mean, so there's a series of questions. One is which neutron drivers are you using? So there's a whole bunch of checkboxes. And then which keystone drivers? Then Cinder drivers. Then there's some vendor questions. There's like a...
It is kind of confusing. Like they say NetApp, but NetApp has, I think, NFS, iSCSI, FC, and now NVMe, probably NVMe support as well. And
yeah,
in
so
the next, I was just saying this also mention NFS, which is again a protocol. So it is kind of confusing there.
So I guess the question would be, what do we want to get out of this?
So on the Cinder side, I think we are more concerned with the OS brick deals with the protocols, and regarding the drivers, we can't do much about it. But it is good to know for the driver vendors, like they need to have some improvements. So maybe both would help, like the drivers along with the protocols they're using.
So we want to do it as like so we could ask and just have a free text box for people to answer, or we could have like a, series of checkboxes.
For the protocols, we have limited number of them, so we can add like list of it. But for drivers, I think it is always hard to keep that updated because every release we add or remove certain drivers. So maybe they can add their own. Even the some are on older releases, so maybe it's the driver option we have provided is not the one they are using. Maybe it was removed, or but that's just my opinion.
Also, I noticed that some of the other projects have, so we have one question like this, and then we have one freeform question. Some of the other projects have multiple questions, so I think we could sneak one or two more in if we wanted to. But I think it makes sense to change which driver to which protocol, so we can get some feedback on that.
Or maybe we can just split NetApp, for example, into 3 or 4 different drivers. NetApp iSCSI, NetApp.
Yeah, I mean, which way would we want to go?
Same question, but they can specify. And I think that also gives you additional information, whether they, even though the array may support multiple protocols, do they use multiple, or do they prefer one and that's the only one they use? I think from a vendor's perspective, could also be useful.
Okay, so your suggestion is we'll revise the list of drivers to the ones we currently have, but list each of the protocols they support too. Okay. So
So it may end up with a huge list instead. Maybe difficult to manage in the survey.
Or as Brian said earlier, they could write it on their own, like the driver name and the protocol in a empty text box.
Let's
I'm afraid that anything we request in free-form is a mess.
Yeah.
Because this is usually people that they have a lot of things to do, and they are not sure that this is really useful. So we are thankful. We should be thankful that they are even wasting a minute doing this.
So just eyeballing it.
True statement.
It looks like that Neutron has twice as many drivers listed as we do.
Oh, then maybe we can.
So I think let's just do it, and then they can worry about it. It's not like they have to print this out or anything. So.
Yeah, we can try it once and see how it goes.
Okay.
I mean, we run the risk that we're going to further exhaust people as they're trying to go through the survey and not complete it. But, I think already they don't answer all the questions anyway. So.
And could we, Jay, following that train of thought, could we change the order and first ask for the project feedback, and then in the other section, in the drivers, make it optional? As in, if they don't want to even bother, they just submit, I want this fixed, and let not discourage them with the Cinder big list of Cinder drivers, and first try to get some feedback, which is the most important part, maybe.
Well, we can make that suggestion, but there's like a separate section. There's the checkboxes, and then there's which are under deployment decisions or something. There's a deployment decision section that's got checkboxes for every service, basically. And then there's a project feedback, project feedback. And then those are the freeform ones. So we could suggest changing the order, but I don't know that they would. But with the checkboxes, it's basically what you would look for is if I'm using NetApp, I just go to N, as long as we order it like alphabetically, I just go to N and check it and don't even bother to look at anything else. So it's easy to scroll past.
Yeah, so that's a good point. It really shouldn't be that much more taxing.
Yeah. And it's easy because you just click. You don't have to actually write. So. Okay, and then with the feedback, it sounds like what we need to add here is, right, we'll have to ask them to please be specific or something. What release?
And is this Etherpad for like us to for the Cinder team to change? Like I was making notes on the PTG Etherpad, but yeah, if it would be good if we could directly do it here as well.
Do you mean this one Antelope PTG Cinder user survey current questions Etherpad? Yeah, I just made that up. So yeah, we can do whatever we want with it. I didn't know where else to find this, so I just copied and pasted it out of the user survey. Brian,
didn't we say that there was already a specific question about the release they are using?
Yeah, but it could be multiple releases. I think we should just say, because if they're going to answer this, they're going to say, images are screwed up. So they can just say, I'm using Z, images are screwed up, and you need to fix it. So I think it makes sense, and we can even say, you know, I don't know.
I think we can probably take some of the ones that we've seen today and give them as, maybe change them a bit and give them as examples of, this is a good feedback. We have nothing to do with this other one.
Yeah.
Like better support for something. What is it? Is it failing? Do you want new features? What is specifically bothering you? Maybe we need to make the question longer to explain that specifically, because that's, yeah, that drives us a bit crazy.
Yeah, where's a good one where we didn't know? Maybe
Gorka, you're muted.
Thank you, Ryan. Brian, I was saying that I changed the better support for Cinder backup services, specifically file system, to not single out a specific thing. So I changed it to better support for X, and then what we wonder when we read that. So maybe that is easier to see. What happens when we read things is we don't know where we are, what we're talking about. We have zero context. Good point, Brian. The second part, Brian, I like it even more. Or think we did.
okay, that would probably help us get better feedback on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have got good amount of revisions on the feedback, and I think we can resume on the same, like we can update these with the discussion based on operator hour. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but yeah, I'm hopeful they will provide some more a better format for asking questions as well. So is there anything else with this topic, or so probably we can move on to the next one, because after that we have the operator hour, which is a fixed timing, so we can't, I mean, reschedule it. Okay, so can anyone press the button on the blue jeans, which is the spotlight one, which adds
Done.
Done.
Oh.
thanks. Because I still am not able to see it after 6 months as well. Okay, I will just update the Open Infra channel with the current topic discussion.
Okay, good. I was going to ask about that too.
And
You're
they
on
really
top
have,
of it, Rajat.
they really have a nice UI this time. Like, it shows on the top what is currently is being discussed, and the next ones. So in this link, looks very good. Yeah, so regarding the SLURP release cadence, so SLURP stand for single release skip level upgrade release process. I'm saying it correctly. Yeah, skip level upgrade release process. Which yeah, so yesterday I attended the TC plus PTL session, and I expected a topic around it, but there were no discussions. So after the session, I asked G-Man about, like, if we are going to keep it same, or are there any changes in it. So he said, like, the governance doc we has it is like the same we have planned when we started this, and Brian was working on some release note part of it, and I read through that as well. So I will just quickly mention my part, and then Brian can explain the release note side of it. So just a little background. So the 6 months release was too fast for some deployments, like upgrading every 6 months was not feasible or undesirable. So the TC came up with a resolution that we could create a new upgrade path with skipping every next release, and it is kind of a, like, previously we named it TikTok, or a major minor thing, where we could upgrade from one major release to another. So the first SLURP release will be AA, which is the current one, Antelope, and the double B will be the not SLURP, and then double C will be the SLURP release. So we will be adding paths of upgrade from AA to double C, and there are some considerations in adding this. So first one is regarding the testing. So they have added gate jobs to test. So previously we had jobs to test the adjacent release upgrade, but now they have added jobs to test like a skip level upgrade process. Like currently, I think it works for from Yoga to AA or Antelope. I'm not sure why I keep calling it AA. We have named it. So yeah, from Yoga to Antelope, they have already set a path. I think a job for testing this upgrade path, and we will update it every time we reach a new release. Like in CC, we will change it from AA to CC. So regarding the deprecation, yeah, Brian.
No, I was just going to say, so I think for the yoga to Antelope is going to be non-voting, but we're encouraged to make sure it works. So we have the normal grenade job from current release to development release, and then there's just going to be an extra grenade job that goes back to the last, SLURP release. So we're pretending yoga was a SLURP release just to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, the deprecations and everything doesn't apply to yoga because we were not aware about it, but just to test the upgrade path, we can consider it as a placeholder. And regarding the deprecations, so all the deprecations will be possible in the SLURP release because someone might be upgrading from one SLURP to another, and they might miss out on these things if we do it in between in the not SLURP release. So that is what they are saying right now. Next one is again like the data migrations. I think it is the online data migrations we have currently. Even those should be added or removed in the SLURP release. If I read it, understood it correctly. And there are some other things they have mentioned, but I thought it was not very. I mean, they just say like we will not be testing the not SLURP releases upgrade path and those things. So there is a link where they have the whole details of this release cadence, and I will hand it over to Brian to explain the release note part of it.
Yeah, I've basically got to work on this in the next couple of weeks. So I've outlined the way you could do this by hand, but I think we can automate some of this. Because the basic thing is when an operator deploys C, they may be coming directly from Antelope and skipping Beaver or whatever. So we need a way to refer back to the release notes from the one they're missing in case there's stuff there. And I think there's a way to do it where sort of the way the release team makes those or actually I don't think they have a bot, but the release team makes a bunch of patches to update like the Git review and the index or the release notes at every release. I think we can slide this stuff in there also. So I'll be working on that. So there's probably nothing to worry about. The idea behind this is to just do release notes the way you normally do all the time. And then we'll see what happens because we won't know until somebody actually deploys C if they're going to get the information they need or not. So this is kind of a low impact way to just point operators to where they can find stuff without us having to do a lot of sorting. Because the problem is sorting through to decide, what's important that happened in the in-between release and what didn't, we don't know. So this way, there's an easy place for them to find stuff. And then they can complain, or let me put it, they can give us feedback about how the process can be improved so that they can be on top of things. But it's basically, it's hard to sort through because, right, if it's important enough to have a release note, then we think it's important enough for people to be aware of it. And we'll see what happens. So anyway, so basically the advice here is just do release notes the way you normally do, right? So we just continue to carry on with that and don't worry about what release you're writing for.
I like that idea of making sure I do the same thing, and it's either the PTL or the XPTL's problem to figure this out. I like that.
Yeah, well, this is designed so you don't even have to do that. It's just going to, yeah. Anyway.
Brian, I was just going through your Word doc, so it mentions creating a static file for the release note of the not SLURP release, and then just in a SLURP release, we just add a point to that static page. So yeah, I wasn't sure like who was going to do it. Is it either PTL or the TC?
Right, that's the part I think I can automate. So that's what I'm working on. So hopefully you won't even have to do this. I think we can just generate the static page, and because the main point is that we want, for each project, we want them to have the same kind of thing. So when the operator looks at Nova or Cinder or Glance, they know exactly where to go. So they know this is a SLURP release. Here's the stuff you may have missed, so go check it out. And then I think we can automate that. So this write-up was how you would do it by hand, and so it would be the PTL or somebody the PTL designated to handle this. But I think we can automate it. So
yeah, that sounds great. Less work for me. So yeah, I think that was pretty much it. There are not many things we have to be careful about right now, but in the upcoming, like there are some certain restrictions in the not SLURP release regarding deprecations and database migrations, so we need to be careful about that. I think AA is free from those restrictions. Okay, if we don't have any questions about that, then we can even discuss Sophia's topic because we have a good amount of time before the operator hours. So is Sophia around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Just facing some problem with internet, but I'm fine. Okay, let me see if I can share. I prepare a quick presentation.
So we are already facing some issues with sharing, but this we can see. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you can see.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. Yeah, I think you only see my screen, right? No, my entire my notes as well, right?
yeah, just the
the
slide.
presentation.
Okay.
You already
Yeah,
won
because I
the
cannot see
first
anything.
day of the PTG Best Presentation Award. So
She has the magic touch.
Cool. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start. So today's presentation aims to give an overview of the current situation Cinder is having with encryption. I know we discussed this many times before, and we also have a few talks in the PTG the next days regarding encryption. So it would be nice to give a brief summary of the problem. So yeah. So the agenda is really simple. I'm going to start with an overview of the problem we have, then 2 possible solutions that we had been talking about, and a conclusion, which is not really a conclusion, is basically what I'm working on right now. Well, we all probably know this, but okay, Cinder supports encryption, volume encryption using key store in Barbican. Such configuration use LUX to create an encrypted volume type and attach it to Nova instances, such as a brief in case some intern watch this. Okay. So let's start with a brief overview of the problem. So encryption headers are invisible to Cinder. This means that we don't store the size of the header anywhere. On one hand, a non-encrypted volume of size n contains n gigabytes of usable space. This is really obvious, but on the other hand, an encrypted volume contains less than n gigabytes of usable space because encryption metadata must be stored within that volume in order for the volume to be usable. This is a problem to us because it consumes an amount of usable space. And one thing to highlight is that the API supports the creation of volumes in giga units. This means that we have a giga boundary when creating volumes. So I'm going to mention the current problems we know about. So we lack of a global approach to how to handle this, and every driver is doing it in a different way. If we don't allocate more space, the encryption header will take a few megabytes away from that size, leaves the user with less space to write data to. And if we allocate more space, would be problems with migration. For example, migrating unencrypted volumes to encrypted 1 fit. And another issue that we're seeing is that images that need X giga space from a volume won't fit in the volume when it's encrypted. Another thing that maybe it's not a problem or not, but I just want to mention, operators would charge the actual volume size instead of the user size, even charge more for encryption because of the use of CPU and space. Then this is also a problem for backup restore between backends or restore to encrypted volume would face a size discrepancy. And also problems with time provisioning cases. So what's the right size for operator facing this problem? Probably they see less space consumption. So I think now we could say that we agree that if the user requests 1G volume, Cinder should give 1G to write data into it and should be transparent to the user. So the user should not have to care if the volume is encrypted or not. And the solution could be split in 2 parts. Both solutions complement each other. One would be adapting the current tools we have, adding an allocation size and a requested size. And the second approach would be using partitions on OSRig or Nova to always display the requested size instead of the real size when using instances or attaching or the operation we're doing. So the first approach would be adapting the tool to get what we need. The goal would be to keep track of two sizes. One would be the allocation size, the real size of the volume. The other would be the requested size by the user. So this size would be displayed to the user. The best case scenario would be to find a way to calculate the encryption header upfront. If we find a way to do that, we shouldn't care about the size of the backend returned to us because we know how much we need beforehand. And
Sorry
after
to
that,
interrupt, Sophia, but
yep.
we would care about the size return. Even if we are able to calculate, there are backends that may not be able to define, the granularity may change between backends. For example, a backend may not be able to give you just 1 more megabyte, even if you know the header size. The backend may say, yeah, I cannot give you just 1 megabyte, I will give you 100 megabytes. That's the unit that I manage.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Right, my notes. Yeah, it's true. That's the case of the Dell driver, I think, the Power Flex.
Yep.
Okay.
The 8 gigabyte. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Well, sorry about that. So we care about the side return, but the backend.
Sophia,
Okay. Yeah.
how big are we talking for header size? What are we expecting it to be? Do we know?
Yeah. So in the next slide.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I was just gonna finish this slide, and I'm gonna try to. I'll just skip it.
Ignore me. Just keep going.
Okay. Yeah, but it's true. So we care about, of course, the size of the backend return. And well, once we know the size, we can create a partition with the unencrypted size, and in this way, the user only see the requested size, and the operations have the real size as well. So, okay, so how to calculate the encryption header? Eric and I did a lot of work on this. I read a lot of Luke's documentation. On Lux version 1, calculating the encryption header is not that easy because it can change depending on the zipper I use at the moment. And at the moment, I couldn't find a clear way to calculate all the variables and get like a clear way to calculate it. On the other hand, on version 2, the header can be easily calculated in advance using crypt setup Lux format command. So I still working on Lux 1 header calculation. And something to highlight is that due to limitations on QEMU, QEMU only supports Lux 1 version 1. Lux 1. And it's the one using most drivers, so this is a thing for us. I think.
Sorry to be a pain again, but any ISCSI fiber channel driver should support Lux V2 normally, because I think so.
Okay, so it won't be only a problem for NFS and everything. Okay. Okay, just updating my notes. Yeah. Okay, so it's not a big problem then.
Oh, it is still a big problem because most people still use LUX v1. So I was just making a little note. It's a side note. It's not a big change in what you said.
Yeah, it's nice to know. Sorry, because I forgot about that. So thanks. So yeah, maybe. Well, I have to double check again on Kimu. Maybe they support. Okay. Okay. Then we have the second part of this. Implement, like, I know really how to name that, like, partition to show the size we want to a user. This might be handy for some backends, like Dell PowerFlex, the one that rounds each volume capacity in AG. I think we're gonna discuss this in particular later in the PTG because I saw a topic regarding Dell PowerFlex. So the idea is that we could add some code or something in Nova or OSBrick to do this. Nova use Kimu devices layer and device mapper. Sometimes Nova voice the call to OSBrick, so we need to check these special cases to solve this problem. And then I haven't worked on this. I haven't checked really how much it could take us. So to end this presentation, just an update of what I'm going to do next. So we need tests, of course, for this to see if the approaches really work. It would be nice to see some Tempest tests proposed, even if they don't pass. Maybe someone is interested in working on this with me. I want to, it would be nice. I also should work on Cinder spec, a simple one to record this somewhere, because I think we don't have any, and it's an easy way to manage the patches after with the topic, the global everyone or everything. And finally, of course, propose a prototype to check the approaches or to check the two slices approach work before delving into all the work. And that's all I have. That was a quick presentation for this
And a
overview.
good one. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Yay.
Sophia. So I have a question. Does anybody know how AWS handles this? What I mean is, do they?
If it's charged or not, right? I don't know that.
Yeah, because I keep going back to the right. If you bought a USB drive and you want to encrypt it, you realize you're going to be losing some space, right? So,
Ryan, I would like to, in this case, I'm not too sure if we care what AWS does, because from my point of view, I agree with Eric. I think he said it a long time ago. In a cloud, it doesn't make any sense that I have to care about this. It should be transparent, like Sophia said. I asked for 1 gigabyte. Just give me 1 gigabyte. I don't care if it's encrypted or not, because otherwise we end up with a lot of problems with migrations and with everything if we have to care. And in a cloud environment, this literally doesn't make any sense that I cannot migrate because one is unencrypted and the other is encrypted. I cannot retype. That's crazy in a cloud environment. in my computer with my own disk, yeah, sure, I do everything manually. But this is a cloud. It should be a bit easier and better.
Right. I guess the other thing, okay, I'll go along with that because I'm not going to implement this. I guess the other thing is it possible for us to store the header somewhere else? Now, it would complicate backups because we would have to, in addition to backing up the actual volume, we'd have to include all the metadata or the header in some way. But if we could like detach the header, like the reason I was asking about the size earlier was if we could just store it in the database, you know, and just when Nova needs it, you just ship it that information and then also the actual volume. Is that even possible?
So Lux does support detached headers as a function of the Lux tooling. I would be surprised if it works with like Lux inside of QEMU for RBD and all those different kinds of things.
Okay,
but
right.
It's at least a concept that exists in some of the Lux system tooling.
And I would argue that we don't want it, because now you try to manage. If we ever support and manage with encryption or whatever, you cannot do it. If you lose the database, now all your volumes are literally useless. The Cinder database, not the Barbican one. Yeah, sure. I mean, if you lose the database, then you would lose the link to Barbican. Yeah, it's also problematic. You will also lose it. But I don't know. I think that having everything together seems better to me, because there are things that we can do blindly, as copying just the volume, things like that. I don't know. Not real to have these two things separated. I'm not saying I would -2 any patches that did it. I'm just saying that I'm a bit scared about it.
Yeah, no, I would be too. I mean, I guess the other thing is instead of putting the database, we could keep it as a volume owned by the admin or something. But then we still have the, you know, everything's got to be at least 1 gigabyte according to Cinder, so that wouldn't help. So
that's similar to the implementation we're talking about as well. Is the basic one is you always create for encrypted volumes 1 more gigabyte. It's 2. Then you use partition, you do with the size, so you create the right size, and that's the one you give to Nova if it goes through its break. So your solution would not have the problem of needing to know if we have a different volume for the encryption metadata, we would not care about the size. For the general approach, which is just 1 gigabyte, we would not have to care about the size because we know it fits, it's good. And wouldn't it be problematic for the create image from volume as well? Having the header somewhere else?
Right. Well, we'd have to stream it all into the image. Yeah, Glenn, all right. Yeah, it's sounding worse and worse. Okay, good.
No, I don't get it, guys. Image is is there such a thing as an encrypted image?
Yes.
Yeah, you can upload an encrypted volume as an image, and then you can rewrite it back to a different volume.
I don't understand. That goes against. Oh, you mean inside Cinder? So because before we made this claim that a user such as Nova doesn't know if something is encrypted, but it's no longer the case in this case, right?
No, Nova does know that it is encrypted once it tries to it. Once it calls Postbrick, once it calls Cinder and says, "I want to connect to this volume," then Cinder returns some connection information, and in there it is said, "This is an encrypted volume." So at that point, Nova knows that it is encrypted.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I'm just ignorant. Sorry. I had some other questions for Sophia because she started mentioning that she wants to start with tests. And, well, firstly, I already resigned myself to Tempest penetrating the black box because before I used to treat Tempest as a black box test that can only that's charter is to test our APIs and therefore, by the way, Tempest can test something else like Ceph. If Ceph implements Swift, which it does, then Tempest can test it. And by the way, some people consider it compliance test. So in this case, how would Tempest know if something is encrypted? Well, except it can ask and receive that information that you mentioned, that something is encrypted. But it would not be able to test if you do everything right, unless it like allocates a gigabyte and then writes that gigabyte and reads it back or something like that. Right? That's what we have in mind here.
Well, the main point about the Tempest tests, I think, right now is that there's stuff that we know is broken, and we don't have any tests that represent what fails. So the first step of some of this was to just get some tests that do create a unencrypted image and try to migrate it to encrypted, and it'll fail because it doesn't fit. I think that's what we were getting at with Tempest tests.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, just to get it to where we at least have tests that represent the stuff that we know is broken currently would be the first step.
So, yeah, sorry to interrupt the conversation, but we are in time for the operator hour. And we can continue this discussion after that because I see some of the people might have entered. So
no, it's okay. I think I'm the only one who is confused about this or digging into this. We'll be fine.
I was just going to say, I think we do need to thoroughly go through the tests. So I think it's good to have some new eyes on it as we go along.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Pete.
Okay, on to the operator hour. So is anyone available from the operator's side?
Rajat, just one suggestion for the current discussion topic. Why don't you put the Blue Jeans link? I know it's on the lozenge, but why don't you just add the link as that URL? So it says operator hour and then HTTP, Blue Jeans, just in case somebody goes to Zoom by mistake.
Yeah, sure. So I did add that to the link on the PTG infra page. But yeah, like I will just. Yeah, thanks, Sophia, for sharing it. Like, it doesn't work for me or Brian.
Yep,
And
I can see no one now, but it's fine.
yeah, really sorry for that. I will try to figure out something for tomorrow. So yeah, this is the first time we are having the operator hour, so I'm not sure who all are available. I saw some people joining, but not exactly sure.
I was the one that just dropped a topic to the meeting notes. It's actually not a meeting note. I realized that wrongly. Sorry. I just wanted to get in line and see if that's something you want to talk about.
Yeah, that is the right section to write it. Thank you.
Yeah, we can surely start discussing that. So this is regarding the state of the non-RBD Cinder backup drivers. Would you like to brief us about like some context on it?
Yeah, gladly. We use the RBD driver. We run Ceph for the main volumes and then back up to another Ceph cluster using the RBD backup driver. But we are actually considering using an object storage that's S3 compatible to have like a break in domain and like have it like really run differently. And I already posted to the main list somewhere in September with no replies. Actually, that's why I brought it up here. Whether those drivers are used by any other operators. I know the RBD approach is quite common, and then I was wondering about the efficiency. With RBD, you use the RBD native capabilities to get incremental backup features and everything. And that's one thing regarding efficiency, because all the non-RBD drivers seem to go through with the chunk driver, the abstract chunk driver, to go through all the blocks to read every byte from a volume, create a checksum, and then determine with the metadata whether that block has changed for incremental backups. But it does that all the time, even on a sparse or thin provisioned volume. So is that really efficient? What's the throughput that others are seeing? Reading through all the volumes, even as I said, thin provisioned ones, and then that's what I brought up at the on the mailing list about encryption, especially if you use an S3 or object storage of any sort that is stored offsite or provided by somebody else. It would just be nice, even if it's a common encryption key for all the data, to not having to trust that third party about not just your data but your customers' data. Yeah, sorry for the monologue.
Yeah, thanks for providing the context. I'll just write it down, the points mentioned.
I can mention a bit about the efficiency, and it has been known to be really problematic, the backups, the full backups that we do, which require, in the best case, only to read the full source volume and then just using the hashes to just write partially. That is the best case scenario for non-RBD to RBD backups. But the alternative is, I looked into it a bit, into use change block tracking, both from the Leaper side and from the drivers that support it. And unfortunately, this is non-trivial effort, and it would require a lot of work to do it nicely and properly. And we would need somebody that says, hey, I want this feature. And we have